If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life.
Well, you're looking at a Spectrum guitar. Are they any good? Let's get into it. Yeah, guys, those of you who hang out on the channel, oh, by the way, if it's your first time, welcome, Jack, are familiar with my nephew. Yeah, my nephew is a young man who brought me that stickered up Squier Strat that we did put through a spa treatment some time ago. Yeah, guys, lots and lots of stickers. And he also brought by his grandfather's Takamine Acoustic. Yeah, man, we did copacetically put that through the spa treatment as well. Most recently, he brought me that Alpine white Epiphone Les Paul model. Yeah, guys, so he keeps me in guitar work for sure. So my nephew reached out a couple weeks ago and he said, hey, I've got a couple of my father's guitars. Now, his father, my brother-in-law, passed away many years ago, but my nephew held on to his guitars. This is one of them. This is the one we're going to talk about today. This is a Spectrum electric guitar. Now, I don't know much about Spectrum electric guitars, except here in my local marketplace where I buy and sell a lot of gear. I see these listed for sub $100 in the used guitar market, at least here locally for me. Based on my limited research on the Googler, these guitars are made either in Japan or Korea. Unfortunately, there is no serial number on the back of that headstock. I'm hoping that when we go under the hood and pop that neck off, maybe there's a clue in the neck pocket. We don't really know, guys, until we crack them open around the shop. But this is the Spectrum electric guitar. Let's start up here at the headstock, and we'll do a little bit of an assessment, and then we'll go into under the hood, and we'll just take this guitar all the way apart and see what it's made of, Jack. It has kind of a Fenderish style headstock, not a bad looking headstock. It does have two metal string trees on it, the standard kind, and we've got some string trees around the shop. Now, my nephew didn't ask me to upgrade the guitar. He just asked me for a little bit of that Uncle Ted TLC, baby, so we can give that guitar that for sure. It does have closed back tuners. Guys, I've tuned the guitar up. I've played it just very briefly off camera. The tuners seem to be holding up pretty well so far. We won't know that until we do more work on that. I don't know the ratio yet. There's not a lot of slack in them, so we got that going for us. So that's the headstock, the tuners, and the string trees. That appears to be a straight up plastic nut, just given the way it's cut and the shavings on either side of the string. And the nut also hangs over a little bit on the bass side. It doesn't on the treble side. So we could potentially be putting a new nut in that guitar. But truthfully, guys, if we can get that plastic nut to work, we're going to rock that all day long. It appears to be a maple neck. I couldn't find a whole lot of specs about these guitars out on the interwebs, although one of the things that it mentioned, and I have found accurate so far, is that these guitars are known to have a thinner guitar neck to be really playable and fast. Now, I don't play fast, so I can't vouch for that. That is a pretty thin guitar neck from my old rock and roll hands. There's a few dents and dings on the back of the neck. You could just tell the wear and tear, kind of that living off of a guitar stand look and feel, if you understand what I'm saying about that. That appears to be a rosewood fingerboard. The frets are not by any measure really scratchy. They are just really dirty and kind of tarnished a little bit. Now, I have tuned the guitar up, and I did play every note up the fretboard. And once we got past fret 12, we had several frets that were out of sync. So there is some leveling work in our future. There's some crowning work in our future and some polishing. And if you hang on the channel, you know I love a good guitar neck video, Jack. Yeah, guys, I really do. Now, the frets themselves, they're not super sharp. There's nobody getting Band-Aids out or anything like that. But they do need to be dealt with, and we will be dealing with the frets. So we've got some fret work to do for sure. Again, we'll assess the nut. We may replace those string trees, and we will continue to assess the tuners. By way of the body, there are two strap buttons. They are both loosey-goosey jack, so we will be working on those. It does have a tremolo system. I haven't popped the cavity off. We'll do that in under the hood. And I haven't, of course, popped the neck off just yet. By way of electronics, it appears that we have 3 single coil pickups. We've got 1 volume and double the tone. Hey, shout out Tone Jaeger. Hey guys, if you're not hanging out with Tone Jaeger, man, you're missing out on some great content and a quality dude, man. Slide on over to Tone Jaeger's channel and check him out. Tell him I sent you, baby. He's a cool cat with really fun videos. You'll enjoy it. And we do have a 5-way switch. Now, one of the things about the pickguard that also reminded me of Brant is that it does have a pretty good bubble in it right here. And I don't know what's causing that hump. I just know that I can't push the pickguard down. So it could be that we've got something protruding that. It could be that it's just warped over time. And if so, we'll have to figure out how to flatten that out. The output jack looks to be all right. We're not going to know until we throw a guitar cord in there in just a minute. The saddles are, about half mass, and there's a whole lot of saddle screws sticking up here. So if we can get away with it, I'll put some shorter saddle screws in there. I've got some of those laying around the shop. Other than that, it needs to be cleaned and, just sort of taken care of. I did notice that it still has 1 layer of plastic on the pickguard. I can see that behind that guitar neck, and as I said, we do have a trim system of some kind, although that bridge is decked to the body of the guitar, which is the way I like my Strat set up anyway. So we'll keep it that way. There was no trim sent over with the guitar, so I don't know if that works or not. We will be checking it out. Well, guys, let me plug this in, tune it up, and we'll see if we've got electronics, Jack. All right, well, the first thing I've noticed is that output jack is a loosey-goosey, baby. Look at that movement right there. So we will either tighten that up or maybe we'll replace it with, I don't know, maybe a pure tone output jack. Maybe. What you talking about, baby? You know we only do pure tone output jacks around the shop. Jack. All right, guys. I don't know if it's tuned up or not. That is the bridge pickup. A little bit of tone. In the 4th position. In the middle. Second position. Oh. So we've got nothing in the middle and the neck together. And in the neck. And hey guys, I'm sorry if you can't hear the guitar very well. I'm just going through the box behind me, baby. All right, so we have electronics everywhere but the second position. Let's cycle back through. So we got the neck, second position. Oh, now we've got something. In the middle. All right, 4th position. And bridge. All right, so I guess there was something about that second position that was a little bit off kilter. We may just need to blow those pots out, and that's all right, guys. It's an old guitar that's been sitting around a long time. Other than the neck having some dents and dings on it, the body does have some dents and dings in it. I don't see any, at least in this lighting, much by way of cracks around the neck pocket. We do, however, have some of this love right here, a couple of big chunks out of the bottom of that guitar, and we do know how to get some black CA glue. Oh, okay. So we've got one here, pretty good size right here, and right here. So the kind of 2 on this side and 1 on this side. Well, I'm going to call that 2 actually, 1 on either side. Looks like somebody's dropped this a time or 2. And beside that, we just have your basic wear and tear on the back of a used electric guitar, everything you'd expect that you would see. So we do have some body work that we can do. This guitar needs to be cleaned. It needs to be set up. It needs to be evaluated. Well, guys, there's nothing left to do now except go under the hood, baby. So if you fancy an adventure going under the hood with a Spectrum guitar, why don't you run out to the kitchen, grab yourself a Diet Coke and a popcorn. Meet me over at the workbench, Jack. Let's get into it. Well, all right, my friends, welcome back to the workbench. Yeah, guys, we're about to go under the hood of the Spectrum guitar, and I think it's mostly just dirty and needs a good setup, but we did have quite a bit of electronic weirdness as we were cycling through the pickups early on. I think they're probably just really dirty, but we'll find that out. I think these strings have served us all the time they're ever going to do, Jack. So we'll just pop these strings off, Jack. Well, man, how's your day going, guys? Man, I pray that whatever it is you're doing today, man, that you're surrounded by people who love and affirm you. People who get you, you feel what I'm saying, man? People who champion you. People who support you in all things guitars and life. And I can't thank y'all enough for hanging out with me, man, tonight, because that is what you guys are for me. And I ain't just talking about guitars, baby. All right, let me deal with these strings, man. Man, working on this guitar tonight, man. I was talking to T the other day, Torsten over at Tease Guitars, and he sent me a picture of his setup area. And he had some kind of like water filtration system that he bought off the Zon or something like that. And anyway, kind of the styrofoamy kind of packaging that came in that box. He had created his own little workspace, man, for setups. Yeah, man, it was really cool looking. Yeah, man, I'm wishing I had one of those tonight. Let me get something to keep my parts in, Jack. There you go. So we've got your basic metal string trees. Man, those are stout spacers, man. Look at that, Jack. Dang. Those are some of the stoutest spacers I've ever seen. So on our tuners, we do have quite a bit of shake and bake up here on this one. And it could just be because this nut is super loose, man. Yeah. I tell you what, guys, let me just deinstall these tuners because we're not going to need those on there. We are not going to need those where we're going. Not tonight, anyway. We'll assess them, man. You know, I never throw parts away unless parts prove that they are worthy to be disposed of. So, yeah. Just because something's off brand, man, or just because something's not stellar, if it works, man, hey, it works, you know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. That's what I say. Well, guys, I can hardly believe that it is November 1st, my friends, but it sure enough is. Man, time flies. Guys, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of my first ever YouTube video. Yeah, you could find it in the playlist under history of the channel. Yeah, man, it was I bought a Harley Benton, took it out of the box, and the neck pickup was shot. Man, it was dead on arrival. And that's what got me started in all this, man, long story short. Yeah, sure enough. Timestamped the video for you. Today is the day that the second bridge work video on the Carlos acoustic guitar rescue. And I don't know, I was telling my bride, man, I said, baby, I don't know what it is about acoustic guitar videos, but man, and guys, I don't really care about having thousands of views or even hundreds of views on stuff, but it did say something to me, man, that like only those acoustic guitar videos get like 25, 30 views as opposed to electric guitar vids, but generally speaking, we do pretty well. So here's the tuners we're rocking. They've got quite a bit of play in them. There's not a whole lot of slack in those. Oh, I said I was going to measure the ratio. Well, we'll have to do that when it's... Now this one is a little bit wonky. It's kind of, it's not that it's too taut, but it doesn't turn as smoothly. So we'll be lubing those. We can take those apart. We can clean them up a little bit, is what I'm saying. But they all feel pretty good, man. All right. So tuners. Again, guys, we're going to have to work with these tuners If they hold tune, there's no need to replace them. That's what I'm saying. But we'll see about that. All right, let's pop this neck off, Jack. All right, guys. Well, this neck wants to just fall out of this guitar neck. Let me just kind of turn this over copacetic like. Yep, then she's going to fall right out of there. Oh, the neck plate is pretty good thickness. Pretty stout. Does have your plastic cover on it. Got that going for us. And the neck pocket, here we go. Oh man, there's no, I was hoping for some kind of date. The only thing I have in here is the number 4. I don't know what that means. Got a little bit of nibblicious there in the neck pocket. So there's a couple of spots on the neck. Has some pretty good looking wear on it. That's an interesting, it's a pretty interesting dent right there. I might try to get that out. That's a really fascinating kind of knot or what that is right there. That's interesting as well. But you can tell the frets, they're a little grimy, but they're not the worst frets I've ever seen through the shop. And here's that nut. It's what I was talking about. And I'm wondering, yeah, that nut's going to pop right out. All right. You see how the edges are all jagged? That's how you can tell it's a plastic nut. Bone nuts don't do that, generally speaking. All right, pretty clean nut slot. And here's kind of your dents and dings I was telling you about. You know, just kind of wear and tear stuff, man. Nothing to write home about. Now let's see if the truss rod works. That'd be good. So guys, that is a 4mm truss rod and it does turn. So we got that going for us. All right, working truss rod for the win. That's great news. The nibs, we can deal with that. So I do know we have some fret work to do, so we'll set that to the side. All right, friends, we have taken our strap buttons off. They were barely hanging on anyway. Trip cover. Well, there you have it, my friends. 3 springs. The bridge is decked. Okay, so if you want to deck your bridge, what you do is you move your claw as close to that wall cavity as you can. I'm going to go ahead and cut this ground wire because we will be copacetically taking that pick guard off. So we'll want this to be loosey-goosey like. All right. All right, my friends, let's see what we have by way of an output jack. Yeah, what we all knew. That jack was super loosey-goosey with my cord in there. It's all tight. See, this is, well, okay, maybe not. Spoke too soon, Jack. This guy's camera work stinks. Oh, the critic's back, guys. How about that? How about like you, Mr. Critic? Why don't you go somewhere, baby? Got one boat. And we've got one output jack. I'm going to go ahead and... Guys, I broke down and ordered some real nippers, man. Yeah, went out to Stu Mac, man. Bought a couple things the other day that were on sale, and that was one of them. I figured it was time, guys. Oh, man. It's a budget channel, but this right here, that's ridiculous. Look at all that, man. That's just... Yeah, pay no attention to that. Anyway. That jack's got to go. Jack. See what we got by way. Oh, guys, man, we got one more screw left, man. Guys, you got to tell me when I don't have all the screws out, bro. Let me guess, somebody's getting fired. Yeah, if anybody gets fired, Mr. Critic, you're the first one to go, baby. All right, let's see what we got for electronics under here, Jack. All right, dime-sized pots, green chiclets, a metal box switch, Well, kind of a... I wonder if this has... I wonder if that's got anything to do with our problems, huh? Although our problem was in the middle, wasn't it? Anyway, I'm more than likely going to be swapping these out. I've got some parts that I'm been laying around I might put to good use. And as I said earlier, it still has the plastic cover in it. So you can tell you got that kind of Smoky Joe's Cafe kind of smoke haze on there. Kind of some natural yellowing or some relicking, as it were. All right, so basic electronics, nothing to write home about. I don't think the guitar sounded horrible. And then we've got the big letter A in here. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's for the factory or if that's after the fact, Jack. I just don't know. Oh, good. Looky here. Well, we do have some significant cracking. Right here and right here. Oh my goodness, look at this one, guys. Look at that. I can't, I'm not able to move it, I don't think. All right, BCG 5150, baby. I'm gonna need some help with this one, Jack. Either some guidance or I may just send this to you. I don't know. And the neck pocket is kind of, well, it is what it is, Jack. Yeah. All right, well, so you can see the bridge plate is decked, right? See those really high saddle screws. Tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go ahead and deinstall all this so we can take a gander at it. Now again, according to my research, these were made either in Japan or Korea. I'm not quite sure which, and I'm not even sure that's accurate, guys, so don't quote me on that. That's just what I got when I looked up the guitar. So we got some rusty kind of springs. Pretty flimsy. They were certainly keeping that trim on the body, though, so they were doing their job, I suppose. I'm not quite sure why this is off-centered like that, but... anyway, guys, doesn't really matter. We're not going to use the trim anyway. Let me pop this plate off. I'm only taking this off so I can clean it really well. Some would argue if I took the saddles off, I could accomplish the same kind of cleaning, but I want to do a deep clean. Yeah, guys, the guitar's coming through the shop, so when it leaves, it's going to leave something I can be proud of. All right. Well, that's not the thinnest block in the world, is it? A little bit of rust and lots of debris. So, good cleaning will take care of that. Good cleaning will take care of all that. Now this is kind of a, I don't know if this is, yeah, I don't know if that's under that finish. I don't know what the deal is with that, if we can even get that off, but we'll do our best to clean it up, guys. That's what we're gonna do. So by way of project plan, the neck just needs some fret work and just needs some TLC and potentially a bone nut and some new string trees. I think those tuners are probably gonna work long term, but we'll see. So we'll deal with the neck later. Second thing by way of project are electronics. And again, here's that warped pick guard. You see how that's kind of bent right here? Maybe if we got that heated in some way, we could flatten it out. And then the electronics, I think I've got enough room here in the body to put in full-size pots and a wafer switch, which I happen to have from a couple other projects ago that didn't get used. Pickup wise, I don't know that I have any Lamb Sam pickups laying around, but I might have something we could put in here. I don't know if they sounded horrible, but this thing, hey guys, how do you fix that? What kind of glue do you use to glue that back on? When I first cycled through the pickups, I had quite a bit of weirdness in the middle and neck position initially, where I didn't have anything in the fourth position. So I don't see anything that's necessarily looks like it's pulled away, or I don't see any issues by way of wiring. But anyway, we'll handle all that up. Electronics. Now, it is somewhat of a concern to me that we have this cracking right here. So I need to figure out how we're going to deal with that. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is probably clean this guitar up, and then in future vids we'll come back, we'll deal with the neck, we'll deal with electronics, and we'll deal with the body. And we'll see if we're going to have to do some kind of cosmetic work here. Not that it's about cosmetics, but again, it's coming through the shop. We're going to give it the best we can give it. And here's the major body work that we have to do. We've got this spot right here. That's down to wood. Got that's down to wood. This is down to wood in 2 places. These are clear indications. So obviously somebody's dropped this a few times. As is this. Not quite sure how that might also explain the dents on the back of the neck. Like maybe it fell over and kind of landed on its neck, and it did that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's not an autopsy, guys. It's just under the hood. So what do I know, Jack?
Come on, Jack. Get your guitar strapped. It's almost time. Get up to get down. Let's get into it.
Well, all right, my friends, our cleaning did uncover quite a bit of goodness. So these are the love marks on the bottom. And I'm supposing that the black that was in there was just magic marker, attempting to cover that up. We will be filling those in when we get to the body. And the stuff on the front, for the most part, came off. It did expose this goodness right here, which I think, again, was covered up by some magic marker or something like that. And this is the big deal we've got to deal with, is those cracks right there. Those are somewhat structural in nature, and they need to be dealt with. I don't think it's broken all the way through. I can't. Can I move that? Yeah, I can move it, guys. All right, I'm going to be reaching out to BCG 5150, man. See what he thinks about that, Jack. But that'll be another day, my friends. Well, I can't thank y'all enough for spending any time with me at all, talking about guitars and life. Special shout out to the Jacks, our channel members, for all your love, support, encouragement, and constant edification. Man, oh man, you guys are the best. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Hey, rock on with your bad selves, everybody. Catch you down the road.